Good morning, crew. I had a very disturbed sleep last night. So we crossed over into New Brunswick yesterday, and I didn't film anything yesterday, and I pulled into this town. We went to Walmart to sleep last night, and I'm lying in bed around 10:30. I hear the dunk dunk on the side of the van, and then I get up and I open up all my curtains. I see nothing, and then on the far side of the parking lot were these guys in a white car honking, going through the whole parking lot of Walmart. There was probably 30 big rigs in there, like long truck and trailers and like fifth wheel and big campers and some little buses and big RVs, and the kids just ripped through. And then I got outside the van. I'm in my underwear and a t-shirt, and they went ripping through. They were yelling something. They went past, out on the main road, back into Walmart, ripping through all the RVs fast, like squealing around the corner, honking the horn, trying to wake up everybody. So I'm like, screw this place. And then I drove up the road, went into the truck stop. It was busy at the truck stop. I slept right back there at the casino, which was great. But this is don't enter here, but we're coming in here anyway. And as you can tell, it's not very RV friendly. There's a few big RVs in here, like there's one right there, but these were packed full of large rigs, and I'm like, all right, that is not a place for a camper van to steal a whole spot. Like, I get it if you're in a big RV, cool. The sign over there does say RVs and truck and trailers this way, so RVs are allowed back here. But I wouldn't do it in a camper van because you're taking up valuable space. When a truck driver comes through town, they need spots. So then I went over here and slept at a casino. It was great. Right over here in the corner, there was way more RVs here last night than what there was when I woke up this morning, but there's still 2 camper vans, about 4 RVs sitting over here in the corner. It was great. I slept good. So to the town of Edmunston, New Brunswick. Y'all suck. That was crappy.
Starting route to Walmart. Proceed to Chief Joanna Boulevard, then take the first left.
So Walmart's just over here, and I'll go show you how many campers were in there. Like a lot. Look how many travelers are in this town spending money. Look, that is a ton. So I was parked roundabout where that truck is right there, and I think that's why they knocked on my van. They probably pulled up beside it. Someone probably leaned out the side window, rattled on the van, and then they took off. So if I ever pull off another Walmart, I'm gonna wedge myself between 2 other big RVs. That way, if it was just last night, if I just heard some tires squealing around and some horn honking, I'd have stayed here. But because someone physically banged on my van, that's where I was like, all right, I'm out. But that's just probably because I was parked on the outside perimeter. But there's a lot of campers here. Like, they go deep all the way back there. Right? And all these guys are here filling up their big fuel tanks in town, probably having breakfast, maybe going for lunch, buying groceries. You know, they're travelers. And if this parking lot looks like this now, every day all summer, this place is probably packed. So am I gonna stick around and go film the town of Edmunston today? Absolutely not. I am gonna bounce out of town here and go film the town next door. I suggest if you're gonna come here, go support the casino. Don't go gamble. I'm not promoting gambling, but go support the casino. It's a great place to sleep. I see there's a restaurant there. There's some entertainment. I looked at the thing. There's like a Tragically Hip tribute band coming up. You know what? That'd be really fun. I should do that. There's so many casinos like around the Vancouver area, and even places that I travel that have entertainment that do allow overnight parking. Why have I never thought of that? Of using, like, going to find casinos that allow us to sleep and going to see some of the awesome concerts that they have. Like, there's There's one in the Vancouver area that does allow overnight camping at it, and they have some like rad stuff, like old 90s groups. Like I've seen Boys to Men, Color Me Bad, like those old school 90s groups. It'd be so fun to go for a show and have a place to sleep right outside. It drives me nuts when you get a welcome like that. It just gives you a bad vibe of the whole town. All right. Next main town down from here would be Grand Falls. We are heading to Grand Falls. 41 minutes. Look at that waterfall. Let's go. Grand Falls. Here we go. Look at these two. Notice I crossed into another time zone. I thought Ontario was the last time zone. So the van here says it's 5:58, but my phone switched over to 6:58. I didn't know this side of Canada had a different time zone. Been here a couple times and I should have known that. Cruzy, we're in Grand Falls. Nobody's awake. Some fog in town here this morning, but this is the little downtown section in Grand Falls. I never seen it like that before. The last time I was here, it was insane. Like water just gushing out of there. Yo, what the heck? Little Falls, Grand Falls. It looks awesome though. Look at that. Last time I was here, you couldn't see this. This was all water. Just boom, and then going right off the edge there. You didn't see any of this stuff underneath, and it's awesome. Look at that. Still a cool spot though. But yeah, this was wild here before. Just and the mist was coming out of here. Not so Grand Falls today, is it? I wonder when they open up these gates. Wild though. The rocks are still beautiful. That's not a waterfall. It's a trickle. Yeah, all of this was pure waterfall all the way around. It was like a little baby Niagara Falls. Mist coming everywhere. I'll open up some gates. Knock, knock. Let's go. Well, it's not what I was expecting out of my waterfall experience this morning. So on the topic of Walmart, that's not the first time I've had an experience like that. Remember once I was in Penticton, BC, and it was at the early stages of my van life, and someone pulled into the parking lot. They were in like a Chrysler 300, all tinted out, big rims on it, and they were cruising super slow through the parking lot, and their stereo was like boom, boom, boom. But then they were creeping around my van. Like they would creep around the van super, super slow. But they weren't just doing it to me, but I felt like it was when I was in the van. I peeked out. I'm like, what's this car doing? Just creeping around my van. And then he went through all the vehicles. I watched him go through everybody. And he was just winding through, waking everybody up with his bass. And I'm like, what's the point? Like what is the point that you have a nice car like that and you're out there doing that? So when they came back around my van, I was getting angry. This close of just grabbing something, getting outside and just starting something. I was so frustrated. But yeah, not the first time we had experiences. But that stuff happens sometimes when you travel full time. You do get those areas where there's smaller towns and maybe the kids got nothing to do. And that's exciting for them. I mean, we were in no harm whatsoever. I never felt in danger in those scenarios. Just pissy. This is cool. Look at all the painted rocks. The piggy bank, saving money. Kindness, pass it on. I love it. Aww. These are pretty cute. Look at this guy, a little puppy. Some of these are written in French. I got no idea what that says. Grand Falls, my ass. All right, let's check what we're doing for travel here. So it's the first time I've ever had a travel trip like this one where time is a major factor. Would we go straight into St. John or pop down here in the corner? A small little fishing town. I've been there. I remember that. I think I flew the drone right up in here in that town. Yeah, I've been there. The only thing about doing these trips multiple times is finding some things that you didn't do the last couple of times you were out this way. Just trying to think about the way that we went last time. I just want to spice things up on this travel trip. I think that silence from, I think we went through Drummond and Plaster Rock. I don't know, we're gonna drive back downtown here. That looks pretty cool in the fog. Yo! That was creepy. Oh, the fall colors are really starting to change out here in New Brunswick. These next couple of weeks is going to be super, super colorful. But I'm doing this travel trip is way different than any other travel trip I've ever done. So from the time I picked up the Karma camper van, I am currently traveling like somebody would with a 2-week vacation that wanted to go from Toronto or Ottawa to the East Coast and back in a couple of weeks. So I'm kind of getting a taste of what it would be like if I traveled that way. So being a full-time van lifer making YouTube videos, I got a luxury of just roaming sometimes without a timeline. But this time we're on a timeline because I gotta be back to get my van built at Overland Interiors. So we have a very short span to bang out all the hot spots out here on the East Coast and then send it back. Holy crap. Went from foggy to beautiful. Look at that. I better slow down before we get back in the fog. Damn. Rise and shine, New Brunswick. Rise and shine. The mountain range, the Appalachian Range route. All right, just pulling off here in Perth-Andover. So many years back, I got the chance to take my old Ford Econoline van way up in the mountain ranges, up in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, and we got to see the Appalachian Mountains at its finest up there, and it was beautiful. And it was a weird mountain range because it's like the mountains were going up, but there was no mountain peak. They were cut off at the halfway point in the mountain. They're like, nope, that's it. There's your height limit on your mountain. You can't grow any taller, sorry. And I think that was all caused by glaciers and stuff over the years that kept the mountain ranges at the height that it was. I believe that's what some people were telling me in my comment section on why the mountains were all the same size. It was like the mountains grew and there was a public notice in Nova Scotia saying, it's as tall as you can go. Because there was a weird flat line on the top of all of them. It was beautiful. Good to go, good to go. Good job.
Classic.
Nice. He drove us through all of that stuff. The big puddles, the rocks, the dusty roads. That is an awfully long way to drive. For what? Like, come on, like, if you're gonna take us somewhere with a view after putting our vehicles through that. Mr. Lone Wolf 902. He thinks this is a nice view. Really? We drove up here for this? Ah, whatever.
Hey, I was saying the good view was down here.
Oh hell, oh heck no.
I was saying
That is not a good,
I
bro.
was saying the good view was down here.
That is not, bro. Heck
I
no.
was saying the good view was down
I am
here.
not, no,
But he won't come down here.
no. Are you insane?
You gotta come get the view, right?
Nope. I pass. This is
Tried.
this is
Tried.
about as far as I'm. That's insane, dude.
I tried.
Oh heck no.
Next time.
Every mountain peak, and there's a big difference between that one and what's back there. They're all at the same height. Even this big mountain here, the one way back there is the same height as the one in front. Looks like a memorial for a local. Corporal Aaron Edward Williams, 2nd Battalion, the Royal Canadian Regiment, killed in action April 8th, 2007 in Afghanistan. And they're still chucking newspaper around here. They're still driving by, whipping newspapers at doors. What date is this? Saturday, September 13th, 2025. Something I really love about New Brunswick, and this is something that I noticed the last time I was out here, the amount of quad trails out here are wild. I think it's because all the snowmobile trails, they just utilize them, but you're allowed to ride quads kind of all over the place. See, look, this is a bike trail right there. That's cool. Also a quad trail. Quads are allowed, maximum 20. It's pavement. There is a lot of that around here. Check this out. And then as you come up here, when you get to the city street, there's still a quad sign saying quads this way. Like, are you serious? I love this about New Brunswick. That's a city street. Think about it. If I was traveling around in my Mercedes with a quad behind, we could pull over on the street, pull the quads out and rip around town. Let's go. Come on, Mixie. We're in New Brunswick. Come on, let's go pee. Mixie, you're growing super quick. Hey, super fast. Sir Cruzy. Hi, bro. Hi, bro. And look what she can do. Hey, Mixie. She's just standing on the freaking door ledge. Better enjoy that, because in no time flat, you'd be too big for that. So there's 2 Karma camper van campouts that I wanted to do where you guys could rent a Karma camper van and come camping with me for a few days. And I was thinking about doing one in Moncton, New Brunswick, and Toronto/Ottawa, or you guys can rent from both and all come together because they're only a handful of hours apart from each other. But the one I don't think that's going to happen is the Moncton, New Brunswick one, because it's all based on if there's rental vans available. I went onto the Karma Camper Vans website this morning and checked some dates that I was going to be around the Moncton, New Brunswick area on a weekend, and it shows me 0 rentals available. So I'm going to contact Karma Camper Vans. I think right now we can probably say the one in Moncton's not going to happen, because if the website says no rentals, then there probably is no rentals. But I was hoping that we could, be tail end of summer, that there'd be rentals there. But sorry, Moncton, we're not going to be doing one in Moncton unless for some magical reason they have some hidden vans there that we can use. So the Toronto location has lots of vans, and I think mid-October is when a lot of them come back in the fleet. Same thing with Ottawa. So that one's going to be cool because I can give people a longer time notice instead of Moncton right now, where I will say this weekend, let's go, we're going camping. So yeah, and the fun thing about that one is, like I said, there's 2 locations that people can rent from, Ottawa and Toronto, and I'll try to figure out some kind of a couple day entertainment for all of us to go camping. So My thought with those ones there is if they rent a Karma camper van from either location, they can come camping with me. This isn't an event where people can bring their regular vans. This is a Karma camping van life adventure with Vancity Vanlife only. I think it'll be fun, especially for those who have never, ever slept on a van before. I don't know, maybe one night we'll do I dare to say Walmart night. And then maybe we'll do a really big, beautiful night in like Algonquin Park in Ontario, which I've never been there, by the way. I've also actually had some people reach out to me that have campgrounds that are not far from the Toronto location, which they've offered us to come by, which is pretty great. So we'll probably do that. I'm going to guess mid-October. That announcement will be coming soon. Let's feed the family. And I'm turning the heater on because it's a little bit chilly in here. It's turned out to be such a good morning. Oh. So the bed inside of this van is so ridiculously comfortable. It's nuts, but it's super, super thick. Let me show you guys. RV Traveler's Choice. Right there. Like, I don't know, 12 inches deep. Maybe that's why it's so good. So what are you gonna take out of this video? Maybe not sleep at Walmart anymore because it seems to be just like, I don't know. I mean, that wasn't a Walmart problem. That was just local kids' problem. But I think this time to just stop that. I get better experiences at truck stops. Apparently casinos are a great spot. Last night was so good. After we got to the casino, it was so peaceful. But I was also very comfortable being wedged between a couple of other campers too. So maybe if you are going to hit a Walmart, and you know, this has happened twice in my van life so far, and I've heard people say this happens in Squamish too as well, maybe wedge yourself between other vehicles to avoid being the outskirt one where somebody drives up and bangs on the side of your van. The worst part about that was having Cruz jump up and Mixie getting scared this morning, because we all just, whoa, and then of course you get a reaction out of her. And I don't want her to have that scared reaction every time someone knocks on our van, because I'm a YouTuber and that does happen quite often. I don't want her to freak out. Where a nice gentle knock, Cruzy Bear doesn't care. He gets excited to see who's at the side door. All right, y'all, that's all I got for you guys this morning. Thanks for watching. I have a great big day of editing and some online work to do. So that's all we got here in I don't even know the name of the town. Perth. I don't even remember. All right, guys. Peace out. We out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh. And when the heater's on, look who found her favorite spot. This happens every single day. Hey, she puts her head right up against that corner there because the heat blows right at her from this side. Sorry, didn't mean to kick you, but that's her spot. All right, crew. We out. Peace.